Welcome back, disc golf fans, to round 2 of the Des Moines Challenge, a disc golf pro tour event at Pickard Park here in Indianola, Iowa. Queen-sized Fry here again. I'm Nathan Queen with Chandler Fry.
Hello, everybody. We have some absolute gamers on the card. We have Silas Shultz shooting an absolutely blistering 9-down first round, joined by 5-time world champ Paul McBeth, the pride of Iowa, Ben Callaway, and sidearm extraordinaire Zachariah Johnson.
Yeah, looking forward to watching these guys this round. Gonna be a little more attackable today than the first day. Weather conditions a bit better, less wind, a few less sprinkles, and going into hole 1, 795 feet. You're going to see some right-hand, backhand hyzers again. You want to get around that first set of trees and make sure you stay left of the OB line. And then a pretty tricky shot into the green. It's going to play a little bit uphill, and you have to make sure you get around this last bunker tree on the right.
The wind plays a huge factor on this hole. Depending on what you have, it can either make it a pretty simple par or a potential bogey.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the second round we had a pretty strong headwind. It was playing pretty tough.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to try to chew off as much distance as they can. I've actually never seen Silas play, so I'm really excited to see what he does in this round.
Same. I believe he's out of Louisiana.
Baton Rouge. I've definitely seen some of his TikToks and Instagram reels. He's a trick shot guy.
Hopefully not too many trick shots that he has to pull out this round. Looks like he is going to go with a fast hyzer around the trees. And this looks pretty great. 70 miles an hour out of the hand. Has the speed way up there.
Pretty impressive being in first place after the first round and at an Elite Series event, playing with one of the best players to ever throw a disc, Paul McBeth, and the guy just launches it out there.
476 feet. Let's see if Paul can back it up, or if he's trying to get a bit further.
Clean release, looks fantastic. Looks about a little bit more left, about the same distance.
Yeah, great drive out of Paul. They're both in great attack position.
Here's the crowd favorite, Ben Callaway.
Yeah, and he's been having a really strong season, kind of breaking out this season. Strong showing at DDO, and he's won another big event as well. I can't remember right now, but great to see him out on lead card again.
Always one of the freshest looking players on tour. Always the tucked in shirt, the clean polo, the khakis. Looking good, Ben.
And another great hyzer. Gonna stay far right, so he'll have a little more of a left to right angle to the green, but I believe he's got a good forehand as well.
Pretty tough angle.
Speaking of good forehand,
oof.
Zach Johnson, known for his forehand, he's going to pull out the backhand hyzer here. Much easier shot on hole 1.
I love watching this guy play. Also one of the best personalities on tour, just always a smile on his face. Fantastic guy to be around.
Yeah, and he makes it around that tree. He'll be a bit further away from the green, but may be able to utilize that sidearm now.
Yeah, he's going to have no problem with this, I'm guessing.
He is pretty far back. Maybe he looks to be at least 500 away.
It's a good angle.
And yeah, good shot there. He's outside of circle 2. We'll have another little sidearm or maybe Andy backhand to just kind of maybe give it a run. He does have a good green to stop it if he's moving a little fast.
And this looks pretty good.
Oh yeah, about 12 feet for Paul. He'll be starting off with a good birdie.
Ben going with the backhand here. Bit of a trickier angle.
Yeah, it looks like he has a mid-range in his hand.
Maybe a buzz?
So going to be able to control it better now that he's got a slower disc. But it kind of dives on him once he gets that nose over. A little bit of that headwind, I think. Once it got the nose over, it's easy for it to grab it and just dive it down.
Silas looking to match Ben here, maybe a little bit higher. He was able to read off of Ben's throw. Yeah, he puts it a little higher, has the angle on it. Oh.
And
did that help?
I think it may have. It might have been turned a little bit too much, and that's flattened it out. He's got a circle 1 putt.
Great run, just over the top of the basket.
He wanted to run that one down. You saw him running in there.
That was a great bid. Looks like Ben has to step out a little bit to avoid those branches on the right. Ben has a fantastic all-around game. Good putt, good sidearm, good backhand. The guy has it all.
Oh, and a good run there, just high left.
This is a real tester
Yeah.
for Silas. Lead card.
Yeah, not used to being on lead card.
There we
Got
go.
2 good shots on the first hole. And capitalizes. That's a great start to make sure he maintains at least his 2-stroke lead.
Not an easy hole to birdie in the slightest. There we go. Par is not a bad score on this hole. Obviously, you want the birdie, but I'd take it.
I think most players would.
And here's Zach looking to put in his par. Looks like only 6% of the field actually did birdie this hole.
Yeah, pretty tough hole to birdie. It looks like this lead card got some calm conditions, and they're going to be able to sneak away with 2.
Majority of the field getting a par on this hole and moving on to the next hole.
Yeah, playing as the 3rd hardest hole on the course. Great shot there that Silas uses a link on the putting green.
Seems to be a popular putter among Discmania players.
Yeah, and going into hole 2, it hasn't bothered me, but I hear this is one of the a slippery tee pad here with the rain and just different things going on. This turf tee pad has caused some issues, even with my speech here. 753 feet, though, you've got to make it over this first OB, or you do go to the drop zone, which is only about 70 feet forward, and have to throw across the OB again. Once you do that, dog leg left, about 360 feet into the pin.
Silas looking to throw just a big hyzer past those trees, trying to get as left as possible. But even if you hit those trees, there's a pretty good chance he'll have a decent upshot. That's great.
Yeah, fantastic drive again. Gets around the trees, and that's about that 330, 320 spot there.
You can probably pull out a mid-range from there if he wants. It looks a little sawed off from Paul here.
It's dropping fast, which is a good thing, though. It's going to avoid those branches. But he does land close to a tree. We'll see what type of throw he can manufacture from there.
This is Ben's bread and butter right here. He can launch these hyzers.
It's so smooth, it didn't even really look like he used much of his body. Just using his arm to make sure he doesn't overpower it, and throws it to a great spot.
Right in prime position. The course does have some pretty good forehand holes, and that's what Zach does.
Yeah, he's got a great stand-up out of that, and just enough to make it around that tree. I think he's got one tree to deal with, but he's past the main part of the gap.
Yeah. I feel like Zach kind of has to weather the first few holes. He has a great backhand, but he's definitely looking to hit those forehand holes hard. It's like Paul's a little pinched up against that tree, but he still has a pretty decent stance.
Yeah, he's going to have to go standstill to make sure he doesn't smack his hand on a follow-through with a run-up. This is a long way to go standstill.
Yeah, you can see he kind of held the right hand out a little bit. The follow-through wasn't all the way there, but that's still
He's thrown a really straight disc to make sure he doesn't flare off into the woods, and controlled that distance very well. I doubt he was trying to get much farther than that. That was a very controlled shot.
I love the forehand approach here because with that angled green, this kind of guarantees you do not get a skip. So just work on that accuracy, get it close to the basket, and get that putt. Little flex shot, a little juiced. Still a decent. And inside circle one should have a decent putt.
Yeah, putting uphill at the crowd.
Ooh.
Yeah, and this is, like you said a second ago, a little juiced, but doesn't come back. And it got into the woods clean. We'll see if he has a way to get a disc out of the woods clean.
It's not easy in there.
And this is saying 223 feet into the pin.
What a rip. What a drive. It looks a little low. It's got to get a skip, but this grass is kind of sticky.
Super grabby, but he does get to circle's edge. He'll be putting downhill, so a little scary, but shouldn't be too bad.
Silas is somewhere in the woods. Oh, decent out. Really good. Oh, Paul not in circle one. A little farther than I thought.
Probably about 50 feet or so. I'm sure after the first round he's put some work in on the green. This one a little further than what he was needing to put some work in on. But going to get a par, which again is a good score on hole 2.
Beautiful 37-foot putt just outside the circle. That's the kind of putt that gets the confidence flowing and gets you ready for the rest of the round.
Yeah, well, if you can get a good putt in to start.
Same distance to the pin right here, 37 feet. Let's see if Ben can prevent the big putt. Oh, money.
Dead center.
Right in the middle of the chains. Great birdie pickup from Ben. Yeah, getting big putted is a real problem out here. All these guys are pretty proficient on the green.
And some of these greens are tough, too. There's a lot of putts you can miss that'll go a long way or just go OB.
We got some trick shots coming out from Silas doing the Simon Lizotte hand spin or whatever you call it.
No wobble out of the hand.
Full body extension.
Such a clean release.
Committed.
Just underneath the band. And moving on to hole 3. 320 feet. This hole played with a headwind, I believe, for this round. Maybe a little bit of right to left in that. And but blind shot, you've got to get up over this hill. You want to land left of the green, moving right so you can get a little bit of skip, but try not to push into the water. If you get it up a little too high, it's easy to fade early into the wood line on the right as well.
It is not easy to get out of that wood line. Ben going with the forehand here. It's really easy to juice this hole and put it in the water, I found.
Yeah, that came off. It looked like it was moving hot, but it was perfect.
Beautiful.
And don't hit your head.
You think Zach's going to get closer than Ben on this one?
Not this time, but I do believe as long as this... he did saw it off a little bit.
I just jinxed him.
My
apologies.
Hopefully he'll have a look out of the woods.
That looks like a similar line to Zach's here.
Yeah, this could be trouble as well. Crowd doesn't seem to realize.
They just love watching disc golf.
Yeah, the fans were really excited out here. It was, it's cool I really appreciate that. All of them liked us being around. Paul may have found that same spot that he found the first round. He's right there on the edge where that little hole's at.
Nice shot, Ben. First on the tee pad, parked it. Nice out.
I believe that was Zach. Great out from him, getting under the basket for a easy par.
You can see as Silas ducks to get in the woods, it is not even easy to get in there. So imagine trying to throw out of it. Well, he made it look easy, though.
And that came out like it had a little bit of air bounce on it, maybe using some of the trick shots you were talking about a moment ago.
Paul analyzing his current situation. Oh, he is in there.
Looks like he may be asking where the basket was at. I'm not sure he can see it from his lie. So not finding that same hole. Does find a hole out, but not quite able to get it high enough.
He did make a putt from in there the first round, I remember.
Ben will still be going last, it seems, to tap in his birdie. Taking a stroke on the card here.
Not a bad position to be in. And honestly, not a bad bunch of pars. Like, if you can find some pretty bad spots in those woods, and for those guys to get out there and go get up and down is pretty impressive.
Yeah, with this being a blind hole, even though it's only 320 feet that all these guys can reach, it's not necessarily an easy birdie to get.
Look at that concentration. Boom.
Concentrated right to a park job.
When I walk up to the tee, I have these game plans. I think I'm gonna land in these same areas every single time, but you never know. Having the Bushnell rangefinder, no matter where I land, gives me that extra level of confidence.
I started playing disc golf with my family when I was 8 years old. When I was 16, I got my first job as a cook at a bowling alley, and that's when I made my first batch of beef jerky. As I got better at throwing, I also got better at making beef jerky. Everyone told me they loved my jerky. After 15 years of making my beef jerky as a hobby, I decided to make it available to everyone. Double G Craft Jerky. Give it a try. You're gonna love it.
And I do love it. That jerky is good. On to hole 4. This hole is somewhat daunting, but really it's just a power hyzer on the right side for the right-hand backhand player. What do you do on this hole for a left-handed player?
I try to get a 3.
That's a good call.
I throw towards that tree where the people are walking in front of right now and just kind of pitch up. But we'll see this card attacking. They want nothing to do with that. Throwing most likely a hyzer flip to flat hyzer over the water just to spike back in. Maybe just left of it, because when you spike, it should kind of bounce up to the right the way this green is slanted.
And I believe they had to repaint the lines on this hole because due to the rain that we got, the water level rose.
Yeah, the line a little bit higher. This is standing up on Ben. He may have enough power to still make it to land over there.
That's out of bounds.
It's too much power as he is thrown OB long on this hole.
And that'll go to the drop zone.
That's got to be 580 feet.
That's a bomb.
And he'll play from the short drop zone.
Zach looking to correct off of Ben's line. Looks like he has the right angle. Does he have the power?
And just short. Needed about 3 more feet.
That's so painful. The entire flight, as the thrower, you think that's perfect because it's going right at the basket. Then it hits 2 feet short.
Silas looking to correct. He seems to have done so.
Oh, wow.
He's telling it to go. Oh, and he has made it.
That's great.
Yeah, he's got kind of a scary putt, about 25 feet straight towards the water. But the first to land in bounds.
I like this line.
Oh,
That's got to lift up,
going
though.
a bit straight. I believe it's going to be okay. But he has also thrown out of bounds.
I think the line was great. The height was not. 5 feet higher, and that was parked. And honestly, I think people are looking to throw this in because it's a good run. Not much danger unless you hit the basket and it rolls in the water.
With the righty backhand, you can give it a little bit of a run, and it shouldn't go too far. Zach seems just a bit short. So hole 4 showing its teeth here,
I'm not sure if the wind was causing some issues.
It seems to be fairly calm.
Yeah.
It does look like it is a bit of a headwind from the tee, and headwinds are always the hardest to throw in. Silas gonna still gain a stroke on the card and get his 3 here, but he was looking for more.
And honestly lucky he didn't hit that basket and roll because the water is right there. Only about 15 feet. Still kind of scary, though. Makes you think.
Yeah, when all you can see is water, it's pretty hard to see those chains. You're trying to look at them, but
He's got to focus on that one link and just try to hit it.
that background makes it a bit harder.
And a shout out to the spotters on this hole. The discs that were going in the water, they were immediately getting in there with a rake and getting them back. So appreciate the work you guys are putting in out there. We noticed.
Yes, thank all of the volunteers that came out and did some work for us this weekend. We appreciate every bit of it.
Get a slow-mo look at Silas's form here. Textbook, beautiful. A little floppy, actually.
Came out a bit floppy, but on this particular round, better than the rest of the card. The only one inbounds. Moving into hole 5, an island hole, 330 feet over this same pond that we just threw over back the other way. You've got a really steep upslope, so you can throw about as fast as you want to. Once you hit the ground, it shouldn't go too far. Either hit the chains and go in, or don't hit any other part of this structure, or you will most likely roll back into the water.
I believe we saw Kevin Jones hit basket on this hole and roll right back into the drink. Painful to watch. It's like a power hyzer, not a power hyzer, just a hyzer from Silas.
And this is a great line.
A little high. Ooh.
Yeah, got a little floaty on him and pushed into the tree line. He's in the island, but may have a tricky putt.
Pretty much a guaranteed 3, potential 2.
And this needs to hyzer a little bit faster. This looks like it's moving. Oh, it is slowed down perfect.
Nice shot from Ben there.
And no surprise, Zachariah going with the forehand.
Just hits that sidearm hard on the left side and lets it come on back. I'm not sure if that went in the bushes or...
It looked like he could have pushed it long, but with the reaction, I think it may have stayed close enough out. He's got a putt at it.
That has the distance. Is that going to hit the... Oh, wow.
And coming up just in front of that OB line. Almost fading backwards, but he's got the... I guess the safest putt. You still gotta make it. There you go. Great putt from Paul there. He doesn't have to worry about facing the water. He's got his 2, and gets to watch the rest of this card, see how they deal with this green.
I don't know what it was, but the downhill angle with that elevated basket, Paul looked really small right there. Tricky putt from Zach. Not a bad angle. He's not staring directly at the water. Looks like he's got a few branches to deal with.
And not able to get the height on it. It seems like Silas is in about the same spot, maybe a little further out of the woods.
He gets the benefit of watching Zach's flight and seeing what the wind did with that one. So he's probably looking to push it a little higher and maybe a little harder.
He got it a little bit higher, but not quite high enough. Luckily, they do both stay right there, though, and should be able to tap in some pars.
It's a weird par. You don't really feel bad for getting it, but at the same time, it's definitely a hole you want to get. And to see, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you don't feel bad for getting the par, but once you don't hit that birdie putt, you're happy that it didn't roll into the water.
True. You can see the winds starting to pick up a little bit as they approach hole 6.
And Ben just tapping in his birdie, trying to get overlooked with his smooth play.
Oof.
And just a great putt there from Paul. Hitting it low, making sure it doesn't have a chance to come out and roll into the water anywhere. Moving into hole 6. One of the better par 4s, or one of my favorite par 4s on the course, 633 feet. Gotta come out of just kind of come out of the woods. It's not really a gap. And then make sure that you keep it going right. The further you get down the fairway, the better. The more left you stay on the fairway, the better to approach this green, where you do have a pretty tight corner coming in.
It's a tricky drive with any wind. The smallest mistake on your angle could put you in the trees or OB left. So you got to be exact on the drive. And the second shot isn't easy either. You got to do either like a skip sidearm or a really touchy backhand approach if you're right-handed.
Yeah, and there is OB all around it, playing as a peninsula. That's easy to reach if you're not far enough down and you've got to go fast into the green.
I love Ben's follow-through. The way he holds that form after he throws is just... I want to say swaggy. Is that accurate?
I do agree. Ben's got some swaggy.
I agree with that. He's got some swaggy. Oh, no.
Paul doesn't like it. He needs it to turn more.
With that shot, you still have a pretty open angle at the green, and a par is still very much attainable.
Yeah, he's gone out early, but he's still well within distance to save a par.
Good commitment on this shot. A little bit turned over, it looks like.
Oh no, it's going to fade out as well.
Not turned over enough. I got to work on my depth perception or something.
We saw Ben turn it over a bit too much, and the other two have overcorrected. His disc was about the same color as the clouds, though, so it was pretty hard to tell.
This is the safe play. Also the best play for Zach here with that power forehand. Perfect position. Right in the middle of the fairway, just another forehand up to the green.
Yeah, he'll be throwing a very similar shot. Maybe a little slower disc, but he could also use that same one. It looked to have a good flight for it.
This looks decent. Hopefully not pushed too far.
Super smooth forehand. Gets kind of weird ground play there, but he is inside of circle one for his par save.
Ooh.
Just needs to push.
Lucky that he bounced out of the wood line. In there is not fun. You got, just like every other hole with woods on this course, there's a lot of gaps, but they're all about 1 foot wide.
Zach pulling the Firebird out here, going way high. And this looks pretty good, but it does catch some branches.
He might have a step out putt from there. It's not easy, but it's possible.
Yeah, he's made it around the corner, so he'll just be looking to get out from there.
It's got to get right.
Yeah, stable disc. And he's inbounds. Doesn't look like he has a clean look, though.
I've seen that putt before. It's makeable. Nice approach from Ben. Just kind of conceding the par, taking his medicine, and moving on. I think that was Zach coming out of the woods. He'll get the par as well. This is a highlight putt, if he can sink it.
Yeah, this is to save the par and stay 1 under for the round with the solo birdie on 1. What a putt.
The falling outside the circle putt.
Oh, that is incredible. I know that's got to feel great for him. He's been scrambling to get these pars. And again, what a great par save there, putting some pressure on Paul.
The kid's got game. Good par save after the OB drive.
Yeah, no doubt there. Yeah, and the card not quite getting off the tee all that well on this one. Looking like trying to get 4 pars.
I think there was potentially a headwind on this hole, causing the discs to kind of not flip over as much as they were intending.
Yeah, with the headwind, you disc up to more stable. And you've really got to trust forcing it over even though there's a headwind, and it's hard to do.
It's a scary thing. There we go, Zach dropping in the par. After 2 OB throws off the tee pad, a par frame is not too shabby.
And from a knee, low ceiling, through a gap, hits the smallest part of the gap.
That was kind of Paige Pierce-esque, I feel like. That falling 45, 50-foot putt. Good work by Silas there.
You've seen them in the hands of professionals, helping them compete at the highest level. Whale Sacks is a female-owned small business, handmade in the USA. We are dedicated to outstanding grip for all disc golfers.
And moving into hole 7, playing pretty tough this weekend. You've got to make it onto the island green up here. It was a headwind, I believe, this day. Already 345 uphill. With the headwind, it probably feels like it's playing about 410, 415. And really have to control the angle on your disc to make sure the wind doesn't carry it away.
This is such a hard hole. I still don't get it. I'm throwing high-speed drivers on this hole, and I still can't get there. These guys are probably all going to park it, though.
Yeah, I've seen anything from fairway driver to high speed. I'm not sure I've seen somebody try a mid-range yet. Ben doesn't quite get this one up high enough, and will be putting for par from about 40 feet or so.
I think the key to success on this hole is height. Just juice a disc up high, have a little flip on it, and have it fade back, and you should be fine. But a lot of shots, I feel like a majority of shots are coming up short, barely short.
Yeah, this looks great out of Paul. Hyzer in just in time, and he'll be pretty much tapping status there.
Did you see Brody Smith's ace run on this hole in the first round?
I did not.
Hit chains. Beautiful shot. This looks like a pretty decent angle if it finishes. Yeah.
And pretty tough to do going long of the pin here. Using that headwind to just ride. He's got a circle's edge downhill putt back at the green, not one you see real often.
It's gotta finish hard. Let's go.
Skips off of the ball with the hazard that you have to get on the green for.
Love to see it. And the fairway is actually playing as a hazard, so players play from where they went out of bounds with a stroke penalty. So Ben is looking to save a par here.
And it looked great.
Good
just
height.
a little bit right. It looks like there is a right to left wind from the tee pad here. And he was expecting that to drift back.
Man.
And that got packed down like the wind just pushed it straight down out of his hand.
Looks like he was dealing with a left to right tailwind, it looked like. Dropped the disc a little bit. There we go. Good pickup from Zach. Great birdie.
Yeah, he's got a similar angle on his putt. He corrected from that, got it a bit higher, and made sure he pushed it
The 2 on this hole is getting strokes on, folks.
a little faster. Yeah, this hole does play over par.
Bit of a tester for Ben here for his bogey putt. Let's see if he can jam it in there.
Jams it, celebrates, almost falls over, catches it.
Doing a little dance after his make.
Yeah, it's good to see him happy that he made that putt. He's keeping his spirits up, knowing that he still has a chance to attack.
Absolutely. He was within the circle, so he's looking to establish some balance there so it wouldn't be called on a foot fault. But nice tap in from Silas there, getting the par. He made the island, didn't get the birdie, but
Is losing a stroke and will now only have a 1-stroke lead.
looks like this hole averaging barely over par, with 22% of the field birdieing it. So one birdie on the card is pretty accurate to how the entire field played it.
And here it is. We did have 2 birdies here.
I was incorrect on multiple levels there. The hole averaging .29 over par, so a bit harder than what I previously just said, and there were 2 birdies.
But moving into 8 here, a very fair par 3, averaging pretty much 3, 540 foot downhill. There is some OB left that you shouldn't really see come into play unless the wind gets a bit too crazy. The mistake that we see more often is turning it over into the woods on the right.
And I got to give a shout out to my boy Nathan Queen. Was it second round? They got a star frame on this hole, which I'm guessing is the only star frame of the tournament.
Yeah, I'm not sure that would happen again. It was myself, Calvin Heimberg, Sam Drummond, and I will tell you the other name later. I am sorry. I have a bad memory with names.
I feel like it's always the 4th person you forget.
Paul with the good shot.
That's got to get a little higher.
Oh, Gavin Rathbun, who is
There we
absolutely
go.
tearing it up this weekend. Yeah.
I love
He
watching
also
that guy
got
play.
the 2 from Circle 1.
Nice. Pretty impressive. This is one of those holes that you step up and you're just excited to throw it.
Yeah, such a fun shot
Yeah.
down the hill. It's one that even with your pros that have the 400, 450 foot power, you can still reach this hole when you get the right flight on the disc. So such a fun hole to play.
Just watching that disc fly in its entirety down the hill, it's just beautiful. This is looking fantastic.
Yeah, this needs to drop.
There it is.
There's the drop.
That's pretty good.
Pretty much parks it. It'll be about 16 feet.
That's what you want on this
and
hole.
Right here, we got a lightning delay that ended the day. So, this is after, everybody went and got some food, went and slept for the night. This is 9:02 the next morning.
Zach had to sleep on that shot for 12 hours. Or more than that, actually. One of the longest rounds we've ever played.
And a pretty smart decision there. Sleeping on a shot all night. 60-footer that has just roll-away potential into OB behind it. Decides to lay it up.
I feel like this is the worst position to be in when there's delay. That birdie putt from circle's edge.
Oh, no problem, though. Paul knocks it down.
Nerves of steel.
Which we do know already.
It's also a good chance. Paul's not having the best round right now. He's kind of struggling, but it was a good chance to reset, and we'll see what he's going to do for the rest of the round.
Yeah, that put him 3 through 8, so the back 9 is definitely attackable, and he'll be making a run at it. Zach Johnson also able to get the birdie after waiting all night.
Pretty good.
Solid putt. All of these guys warmed up putting extra this morning.
Oh yeah.
Knowing that they were starting with a putt rather than a drive, a pretty strange feeling.
17-foot putt from Silas here. Ben, the costume or outfit changes are confusing me a little bit. I don't know who's playing anymore.
And that was Zach's par, not birdie.
The lightning delay just messed everything up. Beautiful putt.
Except for Paul's putt here. Dialed. That's exactly where you want to hit. Just above the cage. Gives it no chance.
It's a good sign for the rest of the round.
Yeah, hole 9, 290 feet, and immediately uphill 20 feet or so. You want to throw something with a little bit of ante on it, but fairly stable, so you can get up here, kind of fly straight, and then fade back towards the basket.
I was throwing a comment on this hole, and it was working out pretty well. It's so easy to misjudge that angle and put it left or right. It's a pretty tight little landing zone, and you don't really know if you're in bounds until you get up there. You can see the hill leading up to the fairway got super muddy from the rain.
Yeah, and they've, like we were talking about, all of the volunteers out here have done so well. They came out after rain and added mulch and different materials to make sure that we could traverse the course without getting hurt. So big props to all of them for keeping up with the course so well while we're playing.
This is definitely one of the easier holes on the course, averaging 2.72. So quite a few birdies on this one.
Yeah, and 2 good shots so far. And this looks a little high, but there is way more room on the left side. And he just comes up a little short because of the height, but still has a chance for birdie inside circle 2.
Oh, that looks a little right. But it's low enough, it doesn't travel too much, stays in bounds, circle's edge. Oh, close.
And just a bit low. This is a little more uphill than it looks like here.
Looks like Silas is just inside the circle. He is somewhat putting towards the out of bounds.
And that's
That's testing it, but it looks like he stayed safe.
to maintain a tie for the lead. Because Paul is pretty close and most likely going to get his birdie.
Good pickup from Ben there. He's off to a good start after the lightning delay with a birdie start. Sharing an umbrella. The smallest umbrella.
Yeah, and right after we started this morning, just right there you saw an umbrella. It rained for about a minute and a half and just stopped again. So
Did you see all the quiet signs in the background? That was impressive. 4 people all in a line holding up the quiet sign.
And
Found
since
that
it's so early, there's only about 4 people there. But the crowd will be much larger later on in the day.
We had a volunteer first round. No one was following us, but we had a volunteer holding the quiet sign whenever we threw. So shout out to the volunteers. Once again, you guys are out there killing it. We appreciate you.
And that'll wrap it up for the front 9. Paul starting to heat up a little bit after taking a bogey early on. We had a couple birdies here on hole 9. Moving into the easiest hole on the course in hole 10.
We should see a couple birdies, possibly an eagle. You never know.
Yeah, Silas, not shooting hot like he was the first round, but able to maintain pars clean is always good. Paul starting to get hot towards the end. The other guys looking to clean it up, pick up some more birdies. Looking forward to seeing you guys out on the back 9. Make sure you subscribe to Central Coast.
See you on hole 10.